I just want to know who's going to leave me alone. Are we sending people who are going to leave me alone? Because then I can get behind that. But what I do like about these two women is that they are about leaving people alone, and they're not going to shy away from leaving them alone. And they hold their own in Congress when we are at a time where I don't know if I've ever seen the atmosphere, the political atmosphere, so hyper and so politically tribal and so hateful. And they are so incredibly strong, these ladies. It is a sisterhood of strength. And I mean, I know we are served here with Congresswoman Beth Van Duyne, and I know Coloradans are served with Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, and I think it's awesome. Those are the kind of ladies we want to send to DC. We don't want to send crypt keepers. We don't want to send people whose faces are pulled so damn taut that we can't even tell when they're raising their eyebrows. It's not mean, it's honest. So, a couple of things. We had a big school board fight, actually, in the town that I live in, and one of the first demands from people, from these activists, is they wanted to defund the SRO program. School Resource Officer Program. Now, we as taxpayers had voted on this. We had consented with the investment of our vote to have our tax dollars used to protect students in school. And activists were wanting to come in and say, no. We would like to defund this because we hate police. And the crazy thing about the activist demands is if you leave them alone long enough, they will always overshoot. And that's exactly what they did. And they ended up losing on that count. They also wanted to create a commission to target kids and keep note of microaggressions and all stuff that has nothing to do with academia, which is why we are battling countries like China and everybody else in order to try to keep up academically and keep up with IP and stop IP theft, etc. But moms did get mad. I said on Fox, I think it was like a week or 2 weeks ago, that the most dangerous place in the world to be is between a mother and her children. And we've seen that time and time again. It's what we saw at the school board with all these municipal elections, these school board elections. It's what we've seen by sending strong women into Congress and into the Senate. We need good, strong people who are not afraid to back down. And I'm going to tell you something. One thing I really love about these two, now I love people who can talk a good game, but I like people who also get to work. And they do both. Yes. They're sponsoring legislation. They're going out and shaking people down. They're not just running after cameras. They're doing the hard work that you don't see. Now, I know some people get in the headlines because they talk a lot. I know a little bit about that. But what you don't see is that they're trying to get support for policies that they know are going to benefit the people they represent, that are going to benefit the United States, that are going to benefit our kids. And I love that. That's why, and I've asked people, I've heard from different operatives about both of them, because I keep tabs. And they're like, oh, they're such hard workers. They know the ins and outs of this. People you don't even know that are watching you, like, oh, they know the ins and outs of this. They're there, they're working so hard. They're immediate, like they were saying that Congresswoman Boebert was immediately trying to figure out, okay, I want this done, I want to get this sponsored, I want to get this legislation out. I love that. Because you would be shocked at some of the people who go to DC and never ever even so much as co-sponsor legislation. Right. It's insane to me. They work hard. They don't just talk the talk, they walk it. And they don't just talk about throwing punches, they throw them. I know we talk about bending knees. I'm not really feeling graceful because I feel like I'm not so much in for bending knees, but I am for breaking them. That's where I feel right now. Yes. Couple things real quick, and I appreciate you all being here this evening with all of us. It's always nice to get out and fellowship with like-minded people. A couple of things this week that really got me worried, and I always keep 2A in perspective with everything. The first thing, it happened to a friend of mine, James O'Keefe. I don't know if you all were watching this, but the FBI raided Project Veritas's office. They raided the homes of Project Veritas employees, including James's home. This is what gets me. It was all for Ashley Biden, the female Hunter Biden. It is all for Ashley Biden's supposed diary. And James and Project Veritas never said they had a diary. They never said that this is what the diary says. This is all true. We verified it. The first thing James did was go to law enforcement and say what they had, and they hired an attorney just in case. And then everything just went all to hell this week, as you can see. They raided them, all this, and they used the FBI to do it. The DOJ, Merrick Garland's DOJ, had the FBI execute a warrant to storm into all of these homes for the diary of a woman 2 years younger than me. And she writes about some things I can't say and drugs. I'm just like, this Joe Biden, can he raise some kids that aren't like snorting coke and doing everything else? And can he raise kids that are not on drugs? But they did all of this. They actually had to get a judge to stop the FBI from going through James's phone. Second thing that made me very nervous, because here you have the FBI that's now acting like they're acting like the Stasi. That's what it is. This is East German Stasi.
Yes.
This is Stasi tactics. Second thing that really made me, which is kind of related to this, that made me nervous, and I know you all are working on it, especially Beth, because we froze here. Thanks to the green energy environmentalists who are not conservationists, we all froze to death for a straight week here in Texas. But this situation happening with Nord Stream 2, Joe Biden now going after another pipeline in the Great Lakes, Line 5 I think it's called, going after Line 5, going to cost hundreds of thousands of jobs, going to make energy more expensive at a time when gas and fuel prices are already increasing, we're in an inflation, it's nuts. Not only greenlighting Nord Stream 2, the construction of which is run by a guy who used to be a Stasi officer in East Germany and is best friends with Vladimir Putin, not only are they talking about shutting down another line at the Great Lakes and greenlighting Nord Stream 2, destabilizing NATO because now gas prices are increasing, Russia's cranking up the price tag, Germany's wondering if they're going to be able to afford it, that's a NATO nation, a lot of destabilization. And while he's doing all of this, everything Lauren said about mining with their hands cobalt in China, that's 1,000% true. No environmental regulations over there when they're going for lithium, for cobalt, for copper, for rare earth elements.
By the way, that was one of the amendments we tried to have add that you couldn't have child labor.
Right. That's right.
No Democrat voted for it.
Wow.
Wow, no Democrat voted to not have child labor. Well, because they need their electric vehicles that have electricity that come from over 86% coal-fired plants to say that they love the environment. I don't care if you have an electric vehicle, I just feel like I need to say that in case somebody does. Some of my friends do because it's a novelty. Just don't try to pretend like you love Mother Earth better than everybody else. But I worry because there's a lot of destabilization happening, and we have Democrats in Washington, D.C. right now that are making some stupid policies that are destabilizing our energy independence, going to make us beholden to China while enriching China and also making us dependent upon OPEC. We were outpacing OPEC with our natural energy, with our oil and our gas. We were beating OPEC. We were energy independent. And then now, what did the administration cut all the leases on public lands, terminated the ones that were coming up, would not allow anything new, and was trying to get regulations passed for production on private land. So I look at all of this, and I get a little nervous. I buy a little more ammo for my Liberty stash, just because, it's just always good to have. This is why it is so important that we all meet up like this. It's why it's so important that we all talk outside of the hive that is media and narrative. And it is why it is so important that we support lawmakers like these two here. Because they're the ones going into the fire. I make fun of people on the radio. They're the ones who have to go and face the people I make fun of every day. So they do too, but they're a lot nicer about it. Well, Lauren's, she may be little, but she's fierce, as Shakespeare said. So, but it's so important for us to make sure that we have their six as well. And I'll end with this too. Lastly, I love that we're here, and this is a beautiful facility. I have not been here at this facility before, and I love the smell of gunpowder. I don't know why that's not a Yankee Candle. Why hasn't someone done that? I mean, I would literally be buying it, and I'd be, burning it, be like, all year long. This is great, some great scent. Our 2A rights are incredibly important, and you also have to make sure, always watch everything that comes up locally. Watch your state houses, because all of the gun control activists, they gave up at the federal level. It's all going to be state by state if they try something, so keep an eye on Austin. It's pretty much all I have to say right now, but I'm glad to be with you all. Thank you all for being here to support these two amazing members of Congress. And I have to say, keep fighting for all of us.
Yes.
And if you ever need some shade, or if you ever need me to go yell at somebody, you just call me. Call your girl. I will come and be your rodeo clown. You just let me know. Thank you both so much, and thank you all.